But let's talk about some of
Ooh.
these matchups, not matchups, but players that we can compare. And I think we got three of them. So we're going to go through Aiyuk versus CD. We're going to go Bosa, Parsons, Purdy, Dak. Okay. So
That's a good one. I like him.
let's start with this one right here, which is, I mean, this is a great one. Aiyuk and CD Lamb. I, I think career wise, this isn't a question. So far, CD has been the better player to this point. I don't think there's any doubt there. He just has. He's been more productive. He's been more consistent. He's been the number one option on his team. Ayuk's really had to grow into that role, and I believe he's finally there where he's the number one receiving option. Finally, he's surpassed Debo and Kittle, and he's that guy now. Right now, in this moment, small sample size, 4 games in, Aiyuk is playing better football. He just is. Aiyuk has more yards right now than CD. He has more touchdowns. He's played one less game and he has less catches. So even with one less game and less overall catches, he has more yards and touchdowns. Right now, he is playing the better football than CD Lamb. Just the facts.
I wouldn't say facts. I would say he has better stats right now. And it makes sense. No, it makes sense too, because like again, it goes back to what I said. Why would we unleash CD Lamb when we are already way in control of these games? Like our whole offense is gonna be limited based on just the way that we've been winning lately. It's just what it is. So it's one of those things to where it's almost like Gallup. Gallup, our first 2 games looked like he was non-existent. He exploded the last 2 games. You know, it's because the weapons are there, but they put up into needed. And people got to keep in mind, and I also said this before, we missing our left tackle right now, which means we also put up the explosiveness on our offense. So you and I are the same. You follow the Niners year-round, training camp and all, step by step, day by day. Don't miss one day. We are brothers on that. Mm-hmm. We know in our training camp, one of the biggest highlights that we were seeing was the obvious vertical increase in our football. We are not seeing that right now. That does not mean it's there, though. It's there. It just, we put it up. Like basically, and I mean this, people think I'm high side when I say this, but I'm dead serious. We have been blowing our teams with our hand behind our back. So when it comes down to Aiyuk and CD Lamb, I would say, to be all the way honest, that's 1A, 1A. Like really. And Aiyuk right now is definitely getting him on the production. So right now, let's give Aiyuk the lead on this. Just for this year. Right now, that I'm gonna be fair and give him the lead because he does have the production. But in terms of playmaking, I honestly think you could swap them out and they would be around the same, to be honest. Because they are they almost games almost similar, you know. And on some things, I like Aiyuk a little bit better because Aiyuk is kind of like that guy that's a receiver, but that could also be energized the whole offense. Just the way he plays. Like, and I'm being all the way honest. I'm not gonna be biased just because CD Lamb plays for my team. Like for instance, one of the things that frustrated me is that CD Lamb, he wanted a call on a pass interference and the ball hit the defender right in the head. You know, it's like play through that. Like you got to at least try to go get that ball, then flop. Like, right. You just like anybody that's playing basketball, you got to shoot it, then flop. You don't just get fouled and start crying for the foul. No, you got to make a shot attempt and flop, right? That's the whole point. And so on mentality, I like Aiyuk, but on playmaking, I would say they the same.
I think Aiyuk has that mentality. I mean, he is a great blocking receiver. I know you've seen that. We've actually talked about that in the past.
Willing
He's
to fight
hell of
Warner.
a route runner. Hell of a route runner. I think where CD is a little bit better than Aiyuk is the 50-50 ball. Like if I'm just throwing it up and I need a 50-50 ball, I think CD's a little bit better at that. Aiyuk has a hell of a catch radius and he gets very open because of his route running.
Yeah.
But if I need a 50-50 go route, like I think CD is usually he's going to come down with a lot of those, and Aiyuk is, you know,
I think
that's where he can improve.
I think CD Lamb is a little bit better though in space. Like a guy you could put in the backfield and he could break a tackle, or you know, like to where you just see just pure football. Like it's certain things you can't coach. And I think that's also where CeeDee Lamb has an edge, is just give him the ball and he'll do something with it. For real.
That's fair. All right. All right. We both taking our guys. I see it. What about Bosa versus Parsons?
Parsons.
How do you feel about that one?
Parsons. Parsons. 100%. With ease. With ease. Yeah. With ease. Oh no, without a doubt. Like, and that's no insult to Bosa. Because Bosa that dude. Bosa is that dude. Bosa is, if I put it like this, if I wanted a guy that was go just play defensive end, I would want Bosa. But if I wanted a guy that was gonna cause maximum havoc, Parsons. A guy that I can move around and that's go find the weakest link on any offensive line and have the ability to abuse it, that's Parsons. And the upside of Parsons is just bigger than Bosa. Like, Bosa is a technical genius, and he's from a bloodline of superior training. And you see it. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's a technician.
Oh, he's a technician. So that's what I'm saying. If it was now, if you said who just a better pure defensive end, I'm going with Bosa. You know what I mean? But that's not the question. You saying who better and who better for the team? That's Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is the glue to our defense. He is the entire, just what McCaffrey is to your offense is what Micah Parsons to our defense. Everybody get all these one-on-ones because of Micah Parsons. Everybody is able to get off because of Micah Parsons, right? His pressure rate is just through the roof right now. And you cannot find no film of anybody that closes as aggressive as he does, especially if he's shooting through that A gap. It's scary. Like, it's scary. Like, so, but it's no insult to Bosa, but in terms of overall impact, the dude that's more menacing and creates more havoc, it's not even no way a bias to my team. It's clearly Micah Parsons.
Is Micah doing now early on, before they found out he could just get after a quarterback? Early on, he was actually playing. He wasn't on the line. He was kind of all over the place. And then they're like, oh, wow, he's a really good pass rusher. They figured that out his rookie year. And it seems like the last couple of years, it's like more and more he's just turning into that, hand in the dirt type of thing. He's a pure defensive lineman. Is that true? Is that still true with him? What's going on with him this year?
This year they went back to using him as a chess piece, and I've always called him a queen on the chessboard. You play chess?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So you know how the queen is. They can attack from multiple positions.
Yep.
They was using him like that early, and when they was using him like that early in 2022, we was on pace to break the sack record, right? Because it was just so much chaos. So it was a bunch of talk of, why are they moving him around? Why are they moving him around? They need to just keep him at defensive end where he can just do his most damage. Well, Quinn tried that. He gave us 5 games of that. And what ended up really happening is Micah Parsons became more one-dimensional, and it showed a flaw in his game, which was definitely his hand fighting. So superior tackles will sometimes limit his greatness because he's not the technician yet that Bosa is. So we reversed it. Now he's an off-ball linebacker that can pressure, right? So that allows him to move around, and that restored us back to this menacing defense that we saw early in 2022. So the times that you're talking about where you saw him with his hand in the ground was like the last 5 games. And Quinn literally said he was experimenting with that.